The morning sun barely pierced the haze when I noticed the electric fence faltering, its faint hum fading like a failing pulse. My goats, ever opportunistic, had already darted into the wheat field, chomping away. I thought it was a blown fuse, maybe the summer heat taxing the wiring again. But then my coffee maker, mid-brew in the barn, sputtered and died. That's when I saw it, a thick orange extension cord snaking across my lawn, slithering through a jagged hole in the back fence. I didn't need to guess where it led. It was Marissa's yard. Marissa Vaughn, the woman who once left a note in my mailbox claiming my mailbox's shade of green clashed with a Silver Pines HOA's fall palette, stood barefoot in the dew-soaked grass. I blinked at the sheer audacity. This wasn't just bold, it was Marissa. Her ego dwarfed the stack of HOA violation notices she'd slipped under my door over 2 years, citing nonsense like my pickup parked an inch too close to the property line or my tabby cat roaming unsupervised. But this was a new level of insanity. I followed the cord, each step deliberate, half expecting a prank. At the fence, peering through splintered slats, my jaw tightened. The cord was plugged into the outdoor outlet by my septic access box, a rusted, weathered relic untouched for years. That outlet wasn't tied to the main grid. It was part of an old emergency backup line for a septic pump installed after a flood a decade ago. The pump had failed long before I bought the place, and the circuit was bypassed, but the outlet still carried juice. Now it was drawing power from the septic overflow system, a jury-rigged setup I hadn't touched since the county inspector grudgingly approved it 5 years back. The flickering fence, tripped breakers, and eerie hum I'd heard at night clicked into place. Marissa was siphoning power from my house through a line never meant for use. If that circuit overloaded, it wouldn't just fail. It could trigger the septic overflow, spewing raw waste into her pristine backyard. She'd built a gazebo over a ticking bomb. I marched to Marissa's door just before noon, cord in hand like evidence in a trial. She answered in a paisley bathrobe, oversized sunglasses perched on her nose, clutching a mimosa like a lifeline. "You can't plug into my outlet," I said, voice steady. She tilted her head, smirking like I'd told a bad joke. "That outlet's on the common path, HOA property, right?" I stared, dumbfounded. "It's my septic line." She laughed, a grating cackle. "You can't claim it's septic to scare people." I read the handbook. I'm within my rights. I took a breath. "You're not just wrong. You're risking a hazardous backflow if that circuit fries." She waved me off, her glittery nails flashing. "Take it up with the HOA." "Oh, wait. I am the HOA." Her smile was venomous, like she'd already won a game I didn't know we were playing. I walked back to my barn, her laugh echoing, the kind that makes you question humanity. By morning, I'd set a motion-activated camera on the fence. At 7:03 a.m., the cord twitched. Marissa strutted out in neon yoga pants, wielding a power strip like a scepter. She plugged in a leaf blower, a mini fridge, and a portable AC unit, then ran another cord to an inflatable pool, a backyard spa day powered by my septic line. Over days, the footage grew wilder. A hot plate one day, a karaoke machine blasting off-key pop the next. By Thursday, she'd erected a makeshift salon tent, all running on my hazardous circuit. I asked neighbors about power blips. Some noticed, but blamed the summer grid. I knew better. This wasn't freeloading. It was a disaster waiting. That night, I dug through my house's blueprints. The septic backup circuit was marked in red. Do not connect. The electrician's scrawl warned of cross-system failure under external load. Marissa was teetering on catastrophe, each plug pushing closer to ruin. The drainage point was under her prized rose garden. I muttered, "Soon." Marissa turned my outlet into her power hub. Fans, lights, blenders, a foot spa buzzing like hornets. It was almost impressive, but I paid the price literally and figuratively. I tried warning her again, printing inspection records with the septic risk highlighted, leaving them in her mailbox with a polite note. The next day, my note was taped to my barn door, defaced with a glitter pen smiley face and "not hazardous if it's HOA land." Rage churned. A pink HOA violation notice accused me of unsightly wiring, her own cord. I stood in my driveway, coffee mug in hand, wondering if I'd fallen into a farce. Yanking the outlet risked triggering a safety test, flooding my yard. I needed a smarter fix. I called my army buddy Nate, a systems engineer, who could rewire a tank with a paperclip. Explaining Marissa's setup, he laughed until his wife demanded to hear it on speaker. "She's running a spa on your poop pump," he gasped. "It gets worse," I said. "She's planning a hot tub night." Nate's laughter died. "That's a live pressure system. If it trips, it'll flood her patio." He paused. "This is poetic." Over 2 days, Nate guided me to install a voltage monitor and relay switch, a silent tripper to detect prolonged overload and start a countdown to activate the pump. It wouldn't kick on instantly, letting Marissa think all was fine until a muddy geyser struck. I tested it with a space heater and microwave. After 10 minutes, the pump roared. I rerouted the hose to a runoff trench, sealed the housing, and waited. Marissa didn't stop. She filed another HOA complaint, claiming my goats bleated disruptively. Her cousin-in-law, Vince, the HOA president, cruised by in his golf cart, waving like he wasn't complicit. Marissa upped the ante, posting flyers for a Friday community cinema in her backyard, popcorn, drinks, a hot tub for VIPs, all powered by my septic line. I didn't interfere. I waited. Friday evening, I sat in my barn, sipping iced tea, eyes on the monitor. At 6:43 p.m., the cord twitched. By 7:12, the load spiked. The countdown began. Marissa's yard glowed with fairy lights and raucous laughter. Kids splashed in the hot tub. A projector beamed a movie onto a sagging sheet. Someone strummed a guitar. The pump bided its time. 10 minutes, 15, 20, still overloaded. I leaned back, whispering, "Any second now." The moon was high when the countdown hit 0. From my barn, I saw Marissa's yard lit like a gaudy festival. She held court by the patio, draped in a sparkly shawl, waving an HOA handbook like a scepter. The monitor showed a 26-minute draw. A low mechanical whir grew, then a chug of pressure. The pump awoke. Seconds later, the ground near Marissa's roses trembled. A wet splat cracked the air. A geyser of thick brown sludge erupted, spraying her patio. Someone screamed. A second surge splattered a girl in a white dress, who shrieked as the stench hit. The projector cable yanked loose, plunging the yard into darkness. Panic erupted. Hot tub guests scrambled, slipping in muck. Marissa stood frozen, mouth agape, as slime surged toward her sandals. Screams, gags, and the squelch of ruined shoes filled the air. The fairy lights flickered out. The circuit tripped as designed. I sipped my tea, watching the chaos with a calm I hadn't felt in weeks. 10 minutes later, cop cars rolled up. An officer knocked, confused, his partner sniffing the air like he'd hit a landfill. Sewage exploded next door. "Your neighbor says it's from your property." I showed them the camera, wiring logs, county-approved warning signs, and clips of Marissa plugging in her party, grinning like she owned the block. The lead cop scratched his head. "So, she ran a public event off your septic line without permission after you warned her?" "Yep," I said. He nodded. "You're being taken advantage of here." They left, and Marissa stormed up, soaked, screaming, "You poisoned my guests. You'll pay." The officer cut her off. "Ma'am, you were warned. You tampered with a restricted system." She sputtered. "It's HOA property." He shook his head. "It's private, clearly labeled. You're liable." Marissa turned on me, eyes blazing. I shrugged. "I just wanted you to stop. You didn't listen." She stomped off, muttering threats. By sunrise, a photo of her slipping in mud was viral on the Willow Creek Facebook group, captioned, "Sewer Queen Dethroned." The calm lasted 2 days. Then a manila envelope from the HOA arrived, accusing me of hazardous utility and fining me $500, Marissa's signature scrawled at the bottom. That afternoon, a city inspector, prompted by Marissa's complaint, arrived. I handed him my evidence packet. Halfway through the footage, he muttered, unbelievable, and left, assuring me I was clear. I visited HOA board members, showing the truth. 5 of 7 agreed to review Marissa's fine and her chair role. Sensing the tide turning, Marissa sneaked back that night, threading a new cord through the fence. I flipped the override. The pump roared, blasting her mid-thigh with sludge. She shrieked, slipped, and fell into her roses. Neighbors watched, one shouting, "Marissa again." A blurry photo hit the internet. She's back at it. Marissa's lawyer sent a letter accusing me of sabotage. I sent back my warnings, videos, and the inspector's report. The HOA president, Vince, quit, scorched by Marissa's mess. She tried to seize his role, but was rejected. Flyers called me a toxic spy with a grainy photo. Neighbors trashed them. A county officer, annoyed by Marissa's false claims, inspected my barn and added her to a watch list. A local blog ran, "HOA tyrant drowns in her own mess," with neighbor accounts of Marissa's abuses. It went viral, sparking an HOA investigation. At an emergency meeting, Marissa pitched a bylaw to disconnect my outlet, cloaked as safety. I played my video compilation. The room went silent. The board voted 18-2 to suspend her. 2 days later, she confronted me by the outlet, threatening to sue and take my land. I pointed to the locked plug and camera. "Try leaving people alone," I said. She stormed off. 3 nights later, a storm hit, thunder shaking the barn. At midnight, my phone pinged. Voltage spike. Marissa was back, her yard glowing with spotlights and a canopy, music thumping. A thicker cord pulled a massive load. I flipped the override. The pump gurgled, then roared. A pillar of septic sludge exploded into her new fire pit, flooding her yard. Guests fled, tables flipped, sparks flew from a shorted speaker. Marissa, in a tinsel poncho, stood horrified as the wave hit her tent. The pump ran its cycle, leaving a swamp. News vans arrived, the city cited her. Her insurance bailed, her yard was taped off. The HOA banned her from leadership. Her house went up for sale. When she left, neighbors clapped softly, exhaling years of tension. I posted online, "HOA Marissa plugged into my septic outlet daily." It exploded. Thousands upvoted, calling it epic justice. But it wasn't revenge, it was boundaries. Marissa pushed too far, and the system, literal and figurative, flushed her out. I unplugged the cameras, sealed the outlet, and brewed a full pot of coffee. The goats stayed penned, the fence hummed steady, and in Willow Creek, the air felt clean at last.